Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, March the 17th, 2021. It is currently 6:25 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, I told you I was going to take a break, but there's something I need to talk about, and I'm going to do this really quick before everyone shows up for church tonight. And hopefully someone will be grateful that I took the time to talk about this. Maybe you will, maybe you will not. There's a TV show that I've been watching. I think we're in season 3. So this is season 3 of the television show. I've been watching it since the beginning. And the show, to me, is extremely powerful. It has, well, there's no way to get around it. I have sat there, like, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend otherwise. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know how many times I've watched the show and I'm sitting there in my study with tears running down my face, crying like a baby. The show has each episode has had massive emotional impact to me. Now, maybe the reason I'm drawn to the show so much is it's a medical drama. And I worked in the medical world. Maybe there's something about it. Maybe it captures certain attitudes and feelings I have about the medical world that I kind of long would be more prevalent in some parts of the medical world. Maybe I love the fact that the way they have a tendency to weave in like two opposing ideas on an issue or a subject, kind of giving you two different perspectives at the same time. I think the show is brilliantly, it's brilliant writing, brilliant acting. I absolutely love the show. And the name of the show is New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam. It's a medical drama. It airs on NBC. If you subscribe to the streaming service Peacock, I think they have a free trial. You can start watching all 3 seasons right now on the Peacock streaming service. If you haven't subscribed to that streaming service, you may want to give it a shot. Lots of content on there. And you can watch New Amsterdam. Now, the reason I want to mention this show is because specifically of how they have handled the subject of COVID-19 in season 3. There have been, I think, 3 episodes so far, maybe 4 episodes, maybe the 4. I watched one today when I went home for lunch, and I found myself crying again. I don't typically cry, but this show just really just goes after me, and oh man, it's so powerful in so many ways. And there are some aspects of it that I really want us to think about. So I want to just tell you about the show, challenge you to watch some. Now, listen to me carefully. It's not a show written from a Christian worldview or a Christian perspective. There are clearly elements there that are not Christian, obviously, right? Now, it's not an HBO original where you have, a lot of content problems. It's a show for network television, NBC. Now, there's still plenty of issues that you will have from it from a Christian worldview. From that perspective, there's still going to be problems you have from it. So don't sit there and think that I'm saying, hey, this is a show that gets everything right from a Christian perspective. I'm not saying that. You don't even have to watch season 1, season 2. Just start with season 3 and watch a couple of episodes from this season because of how they deal with COVID. And here's what the show, it airs on NBC. It's available on Peacock. So obviously, I think it's available on Hulu, but Peacock is where I've been watching it. So I would recommend that. And there's obviously some issues with it from a Christian point of view. Be prepared for that. You can watch it on your own and make your own decision. But here's what I want to consider. Whenever difficulties strike, whenever crisis happens, whenever tragedy strikes, we long to have a villain that we can point to and that we can blame. We just long for that. I think it helps us deal with the chaos and the uncertainty. It gives us, it's things we cannot control. When difficulty or tragedy happens, we can't control it. We can't stop it. We can't make it right. But if there is an enemy, if we can create an enemy in our mind or point to someone as like they're the enemy, and we pull all of our uncertainty and our anxiety and our frustration and our anger, if we can pour it out on an enemy, then it makes us feel better. It gives us a sense of control. I think there's a real psychological issue that happens here. And I feel that during the pandemic, a lot of people spent a lot of time looking for an enemy, looking for someone to blame. It's the China virus. Let's blame China. Let's blame people of Asian descent and commit hate crimes against them. Let's blame liberals. Let's blame the medical world because they're all liars and they're all creating fake death certificates and they're increasing numbers. They're all liars. Let's find someone to blame, right? Let's find someone to blame. We need an enemy. And then we pour all of our energy fighting against this enemy. Oh, it's a grand conspiracy. The pandemic is a grand conspiracy to destroy Christianity, to destroy Trump, whatever. We needed an enemy. At a time of global uncertainty where people didn't understand everything about COVID-19, it was a novel coronavirus. We didn't have answers. There was uncertainty. There was confusion. There was fear. We need an enemy. Because an enemy gives me something I can control. I think to deny that psychological aspect of the way many people responded would be foolish. It's clearly there. It's clearly been demonstrated. And even the church, instead of going, how can we minister during a time of global crisis? What can we do? How can we minister? What kind of teaching can we get? Instead of focusing and looking at how do we minister in a time of crisis, it became about what battle can we fight against an enemy so that we can fight for this. And it became about fighting and about rights because we needed a battle to fight that we could control instead of looking at it in a deeper way. And I just feel that is so unfortunate that the medical world in many cases gets viewed as the enemy, that all these organizations trying to figure out what to do, how to best manage a crisis, we're like, they're evil, they're of Satan, they're of the Illuminati or whatever. I'm just now just being ridiculous, but you get the idea that they were some part of some grand conspiracy to hurt everyone, even though while the church was receiving over $7 billion in money from the government. No, the government's out to get us. It became about persecution. It became about everything other than people getting sick and dying. Well, that's not really happening. It's all a lie. So we needed an enemy. And I want you to watch this season of New Amsterdam, at least the first 3 or 4 episodes, just to see a different perspective, maybe a perspective that comes more from the medical world. Now, again, it's a fictionalized television show, obviously. So I'm not saying to agree with everything. I'm not saying that, but I just think that at least today's episode, I thought was very powerful because you have 2 competing ideas going on within the hospital New Amsterdam, located in New York City. You got some going, wait a minute. Look, enough's enough. We got to get patients back. You actually had a number of competing ideas going on. You had the administrative side going, look, COVID-19 has kept people out of the hospital for a lot of elective procedures and a lot of procedures, and it's causing us to lose money. We're going to go bankrupt. We're going to close this hospital down. You got to get in front of the camera and tell everyone it's safe to come back now. And you got a doctor, the lead doctor, the head of the medical side going, wait a minute, it's not safe. It's not safe. And they're like, you do it. And he's like, I can't do it. Then you got other doctors going, look, the fact that patients have stayed away, they have basically missed critical appointments that's causing them to die, or it's causing them great psychological damage, this isolation and this lockdown. Enough's enough. And all of these competing ideas are all present in the medical world. And I guarantee you that there's all kinds of competing ideas in the medical world about, should we do this? Shouldn't we do this? Lockdowns are good. Well, these lockdowns are hurting these patients. What do? We got to get these patients back. I bet you. But listen, everyone has the same ultimate goal in mind, keeping the hospital open and serving patients and trying to preserve and protect life. But they're all fighting these competing ideas. And seeing the episode today, seeing these ideas, and then finally this doctor, she basically, I won't say has a breakdown. She basically explodes with an emotional outburst that's caught on camera that captures a lot of what a lot of doctors were feeling, a lot of nurses were feeling, but they were afraid to say. And I like the fact that so many different There were so many different perspectives being thrown at it that's the way it is. And I think it's the way with all of us. Look, all of us have been trying to figure out, how do we navigate this? What decisions do we make? Some decisions are good, some decisions are bad. But the thing is we have to realize that everyone was trying to figure out how to preserve and protect life. Not, why do we have to assign the most sinister motivations to people that we don't even know, we've never met? Why do we have to do that? Why? And you say, you're being naive. No, I'm very aware that human beings are depraved. I'm very aware. But I also know that we were in the middle of a time of a horrible situation that required lots of hard decisions. And no matter what, there was good. You could look at the decision and go, there's good and there's bad, sometimes in the same decision. So I just think this season of New Amsterdam and a lot of the medical dramas, The Resident, we could go even Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, a lot of them have done episodes related and something related to COVID-19 and the pandemic. And they've all approached it from their different perspectives. And you can agree or disagree with how the writers, how they approached it. But I think New Amsterdam really did a good job capturing some of the aspects in the medical world. And I just think that you should. I think The Resident did a very good job. And I think in their first episode in this new season, The Resident did a very good job of it as well, at least in episode 1 and maybe episode 2. I think they really captured it as well. And New Amsterdam, another thing I think is fascinating is they showed how the New Amsterdam hospital absolutely devastated, death, all the things they experienced. But then they have a doctor come in from another hospital who's like, we barely saw anything, which demonstrates, again, how different people's experience with COVID could be. You can't, because you didn't see the bad, because you didn't see the loss of life, because you didn't experience, you don't immediately dismiss others who suffered. So I think the show did a good job capturing a lot of different perspectives. But you go watch it. If you haven't subscribed to the Peacock streaming service, do the free trial. Watch the first 3 episodes, and then you can cancel the trial if you want Peacock, or you can look around and see if there's other things on that streaming service that you would like to watch. But that's where I watch it, or you can just watch it on NBC, obviously, just network television. But there you go. There you have it. I just thought I would throw that out there. Now I've got to get ready for church. I don't have any more time to have any more discussion. If you have any questions about the show, again, I'm not telling you it's all, hey, this is the best, God-fearing, uplifting Christian show on television. It's not a Christian show. There's clearly non-Christian things that go against a Christian worldview in it, but we live in a non-Christian world, so we're constantly bombarded with non-Christian ideas. But I think the show captures a lot of very important elements, or at least put it this way. It may give you a different perspective on COVID other than your perspective. I think people in the medical world look at it one way, people not in the medical world a different way. Just maybe consider it from a different perspective. Maybe it will help, maybe it will not. And maybe it will just challenge us. Do we have to do we always have to have an enemy? The enemy is COVID-19, right? Isn't that the enemy? Maybe. I don't know. All right, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. All right, I got to get ready. People are going to be showing up soon. God bless.